Hey, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the secrets about male infertility and what you can do for it naturally. Hello and welcome to Total Health with Dr. Nick, where my purpose is to inspire, empower, and motivate you to live longer, healthier, and more abundant lives. And this video is a great one because it's all about male infertility. Now, ladies, don't tune out because this will apply to you too. I'm going to eventually do a video on female infertility, but still, you want to make sure that if you guys are trying to get pregnant, you want your man to be taken care of. At the same time, you can learn a lot. Maybe pass this video on to him, share it with him, get him over to the video too so he can learn a lot. Anyway, let's dive on in what we can do about male infertility. Now, what are we talking about? Low sperm count, erectile dysfunction, things like that. So we're going to get into all of that. So once again, watch to the very end, and I'm going to give you the secrets on what you can do to help out with that. Anyway, let's dive in with the first thing, which is what hormones are we talking about here? So hormones are involved with this. It's all about the hormones. And ladies, you know that better than we do because your hormones regulate your monthly cycle and, of course, your moods in many ways. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but guys don't feel it as much. But yes, we are affected by hormones about as much as you. So let's talk about it. FSH. Well, in the female counterparts, FSH causes you to produce eggs. Okay, so you're going to stimulate the production of eggs. Luteinizing hormone, LH, that's going to produce ovulations. That's going to get you to ovulate. Well, in men, a little bit different. It's still working on the testes in men. FSH works on the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells inside the testes stimulate spermatogenesis. Okay, so it's going to help you to start to produce sperm. In luteinizing hormone, that works with the Leydig cells inside the testes, and that actually helps you produce testosterone. Now, a lot of you have low T, and we're going to talk about that today too. So once again, watch to the very end. So what does testosterone do exactly? That male hormone? Well, that helps with FSH sperm production. So that goes right back to the top again. So if you want to produce lots of sperm, have the best chance of getting pregnant, if you and your spouse are trying to get pregnant, you want to make sure your sperm count is up, of course. Many of you experience low sperm count. Well, maybe it's because of low testosterone. Testosterone also increases libido. Many of us know about that, managing hormones, especially when we're kids. But men, of course, has a lot more testosterone than women do. So typically, not always the case, we typically have a higher sex drive than ladies do. But a lot of you ladies also have a very high sex drive too. It also helps with erections. Now, low T, low testosterone, guys, you're going to have a tough time getting erect. Now, that also has a lot to do with vasodilation, and we're going to talk about nitric acid a little bit later on in the video, so stay tuned for that too. And finally, it also helps you reduce stored body fat. So naturally, if you have low testosterone, you're going to put on more body fat. Now, so let's talk about body fat for a second. Very interesting thing about fat cells. Fat cells, very much like ovaries, have the ability to produce estrogen. How does it do that? Well, there's something called an aromatase enzyme that actually helps ladies and men convert testosterone over to estrogen. Now, ladies, you want to produce a lot of that. You want to take that testosterone. Once again, you want to have your normal levels too, but you want to convert it to the estrogen because that's where estrogen comes from. Men, you do have estrogen too, but you don't have as much of it. But that still doesn't mean you want to produce a lot of it, because it turns out that if you are producing a lot of this aromatase enzyme because you're too heavy around the midsection, all right, it becomes a factory of hormones. It causes the conversion of testosterone into estrogen, thereby reducing the amount of testosterone. So guys, if you're struggling with low T, and we're going to talk about this later on, a big part of it is because you have too much excess body weight. As a result, your testosterone drops because it's being converted through aromatase enzyme into estrogen. Reduced testosterone will now cause increased weight gain, which leads to insulin resistance. So now you've got insulin resistance, which, by the way, that creates a whole host of other problems when it comes to male infertility. Reduced sperm production, reduced libido, and erectile dysfunction. All because you've got that Dunlop disease. And people down here in the South know what I'm talking about. Dunlop disease means your belly is Dunlopping over your belt. Okay? Little humor here. Anyway, But this excess body fat causes a whole host of problems. Now, once again, let's add some insult to the injury. What about ED, erectile dysfunction? Erections are completely dependent on blood flow and dilation. Those two things, blood flow and dilation. If you can't get blood flow there and those cells, those blood vessels can't dilate, you can't get erect. Nitric oxide is a compound found within the endothelial cells of the blood vessels, completely responsible for causing dilation. You have to have nitric oxide production. That's why you're seeing all these supplements now with nitric oxide. Now, different than nitrous oxide, we're not talking about what you would take to maybe in a jet fuel dragster or high-speed dragster, things like that. And I think it's even what dentists use for sweet air. I think that's nitrous oxide, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But nitric oxide with a C is what's inside blood vessels that causes them to dilate to allow the blood to flow there. Insulin stimulates the endothelial cells, so insulin in this case is a good thing. We want insulin to stimulate the endothelial cells, the cells within them, to form nitric oxide, so that way you could get an erection. But as the endothelial cells become insulin resistant too, so how do you get that? Well, you might have elevated sugar levels all the time, elevated insulin levels all the time. You're a carbivore. You eat carbs constantly. You're a carboholic. You're a carbosaurus. Okay, enough with that. Anyway, when you have elevated insulin too much, next thing you know, your body becomes insulin resistant. Now it's not hearing insulin anymore, and now trouble sets in. Not only does it create diabetes types conditions, but it also starts to cause problems with those endothelial cells and nitric oxide production. As endothelial cells become insulin resistant, nitric oxide production is decreased, vasodilation and blood flow is compromised, leading to erectile dysfunction. All right, guys, so there's a lot of different components here, but it seems to all stem around some common things. All right, so how do we reverse this? Number one, you have to get control over your insulin. Lower insulin. Stop eating foods that cause insulin spikes or even insulin production. Keep your insulin levels low. The problem is you guys eat and graze all day long. You're constantly eating. You're never allowing your insulin levels to come down. And worse yet, you're having muffins and cakes and biscuits and all kinds of sandwiches and things with all this bread, rice, pasta, grains, cereals, and next thing you know, your blood sugar is elevated all day long. And as a result, you end up insulin resistant. So how do you keep your insulin levels low? What you do is stop eating things that cause insulin secretion. High fats, high quality fats. Notice olive oil, avocado oil, avocados, salmon, nuts, seeds, things like that. So your olives, your avocado, your coconut oil, those are the best oils to be using. Your beef tallow, your lard, things like ghee and butter, grass-fed. All these are great fats to use, and we typically recommend them in our metabolic healing diet at about 65 to about 70% of your total calories per day. How do you calculate that? Well, there's so many apps out there. Just use the different apps and you can calculate what you're eating each day and see what percentage of your total calories are from fat. Next, you want moderate protein. Not high protein, but moderate protein. Protein is quality. Protein like your venison, okay, deer, beef, grass-fed, fish, chicken, pork. Make sure it's all pasture. Now listen, if you can't get that, I understand. I'm not trying to break the bank here, so if you can't get that, no problem. Just still eat with these types of foods. Now what you should avoid though, in this category is avoid vegetable oil. Stay away from Western oil, that's junk. That's an industrial oil. Stay away from canola, stay away from safflower and sunflower, stay away from grapeseed oil. Stay away from all those oils and just use the ones I recommended. Avocado, olive, coconut. That's it. Stick with that. Proteins, doesn't have to be grass-fed. If you can't afford that, that's okay. But at least start getting more meats into your diet. Okay? And then finally, your carbs. Keep your carbs mainly from vegetables. Now, your non-starchy vegetables like your broccoli, your carrots, things like that. But if you have to have some starch, have a sweet potato. Okay? But keep these numbers low. When you keep the insulin low, guess what else you do? You shrink the fat cells. Because if you don't have insulin in your body, here's a good rule of thumb to remember. When you have insulin, you're burning sugar. When you don't have insulin, you're burning fat. If insulin's up, you're a sugar burner. If insulin's down, you're a fat burner. You want to burn fat? Keep that insulin down. When the insulin is down, those fat cells begin to shrink. Simple as that. You don't have to have them sucked out. You don't have to have liposuction done. Nothing like that. No gastric bypass. No bariatric surgeries. Nothing like that. Eat differently. And next thing you know, you will start to shrink your fat cells down. Now they're less of a hormone factory. Okay, guys? They're less of a hormone factory. You start to shrink this down. Next thing you know, your body's producing less estrogen. That aromatase enzyme converting testosterone to estrogen isn't happening anymore. Ladies, same thing for you too. You'll still produce estrogen, but it's going to be a whole lot better. You're going to regulate your hormones better. And finally, increase insulin sensitivity. So by improving insulin sensitivity, the insulin that you do have, even if it's just a little amount, you don't need to go taking different medications for it. Tell metformin, go away. You don't need it. Instead, do some exercise, weight resistance exercise. One of the best things you can do to increase insulin sensitivity. We do this with a lot of our clients. So guys, I hope you love the video. Take notes, do these principles we teach you. But you know what? We also know that sometimes your health is overwhelming. There's a lot of things going on with your health right now that maybe you don't know what to do about. It's daunting. There's so many different things that are coming at you from different directions. You may have health crises coming out. You may be in a health crisis right now. You may be coming out of a health crisis, or you may be going into a health crisis that you don't see. You don't see it coming. Well, guys, if you want more help, just stick around for another minute or two. I've got a video right at the end of this that'll help you steer through the waters, okay? It'll help you out. If there's something that we can help you with, this video will help you. It'll then give you a link if you want to set up a call or anything, or you can watch a video to see what it is that we do that can help you turn your life around. But you guys, you're not in it alone. Just raise your hand. That's all you have to do. So like I said, stick around, watch the video at the end of this one. It's real short, and it'll help explain what we can do to help you out. Guys, I love and appreciate you. This is Dr. Nick. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I wanted to take a moment to speak with you. You know, so many of you are struggling, you're sick, you're suffering, you've been told you have to have dangerous surgeries or be on medication. Many of you are overweight, have been struggling with your weight. Maybe you have diabetes or prediabetes or heart disease or any other type of metabolic disorder. Well guys, I completely understand. The problem is there's so much information out there. It's almost like drinking water from a fire hose. It's daunting. How do you possibly get all this information in? Who do you believe, who not to believe? Well, what I always say is it's not just about the information, it's really about transformation. We see more and more people. Right now, 78% of our population is overweight, more of which are actually obese. 133 million have diabetes or prediabetes, so we're not getting any healthier. In fact, we're actually getting sicker. But like I said, there's no shortage of information out there. There's no shortage of gyms. Yet, a society as a whole, we're getting sicker and sicker. Well, like I said, guys, it's all about transformation, and that is something that we can help you with. Our goal is to help you transform, not just have more information, but actually reach your sole purpose, actually be healthier, so that way you can do what God created you to do. All it takes is actually you reaching out and raising your hand. Because guys, don't try to figure this out on your own. It's too much information. You can try if you like, but if you'd like more information as how we can help you, click the link below. In the description box is a link that'll take you to a webinar. You can watch it in the privacy of your own home. And if it resonates with you, if your heart skips a beat in a good way and you feel good about it, then guys, schedule a call. At the end of the video, it'll give you an option to schedule a call with us. We'll hop on the phone together. We'll laugh, we'll cry, we'll figure it out. We're going to take a look as to what you're doing that's working and not working in your health right now. We'll look at where you want to go with your health. And if I can help you reach that faster, I'll show you what that looks like. If I can't and you don't want our help, that's okay too. I'll do the best I can to steer you in the right direction that serves you the best. But not only that, I want you to get on the call clarity, but more importantly, I want you to see what your next steps are. But like I said, guys, it all starts with you raising your hand and asking for help. Click the link below. It'll take you to the webinar, and at the end, it'll schedule a call for you where you can talk to me personally. Well, guys, I look forward to speaking with you. I love and appreciate you. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.